comments on agenda items. Do we have any public comments this evening? Okay, there being no public comments, the first item up for action is appointing a vice president pro tem. So be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the appointment of the vice president pro tem as listed below, and that would be Emily Crutchfield. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Moved.
Yes. Fantastic. And then our next item up for action is appointing a new Board of Education member. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the appointment of Mrs. Diane Shifley to fill the vacancy on the Board of Education created by the resignation of Mrs. Nicole Sullivan expiring April 2027. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Second.
You're fine.
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Baylor? Yes. Ms. Reyes?
Fantastic. Welcome, Diane. And now I'm going to invite you to come up and take the oath. Do you want us to do it here or at the podium?
We can do the podium.
You want to do the podium?
Yeah, let's do that.
Works for me. Do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of the member of Board of Education of the Diamond Lake School District 76 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I, Diane Shifley, do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the member of the Board of Education of Diamond Lake School District 76 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I further affirm that I shall represent taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school board district assets.
I further affirm that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district assets.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
I shall abide by the majority decision of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
As a part of the Board of Education, I shall accept responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district.
As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation of community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Diamond Lake School District 76.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Diamond Lake School District 76.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximal potential through a sound organizational framework.
I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for Diamond Lake School District 76.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students in our community schools to advance the vision for Diamond Lake School District 76.
And I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
and I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the area of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Now, we are going to move to appoint a new Board of Education Vice President. The Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education requests a nomination for the position of Vice President. I nominate Emily Crutchfield. Can I get a second for that nomination? Okay. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the appointment of the Vice President as listed below, which is Emily Crutchfield. May I have a motion to approve, please? Yes.
Ms. Shifley?
Yes.
Congratulations, Emily. Okay, and now we will turn the floor over to recognitions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. We are excited this evening for tonight's Diamond Award and to, on behalf of the Board of Education, to help us recognize Mr. Jose, I'd like to call up DLS Principal Sunny Morley and Lily to join her as well.
All right, so we have a little something to say about Jose. Today, we want to take a moment to celebrate someone who is truly an essential part of our Diamond Lake family, Jose Torres.
Hoy queremos tomar un momento para reconocer y celebrar a quien realmente es una parte esencial de la familia de la Escuela Diamond Lake, Don José.
Jose does so much behind the scenes to make our school a welcoming, safe, and cared-for place for students and staff every single day. He keeps our building clean, makes sure our cafeteria is ready and welcoming. He moves furniture whenever we need it, and somehow always seems to be there whenever something needs to be done.
Don José hace muchísimo para que nuestra escuela sea un lugar acogedor, seguro y bien cuidado para nuestros estudiantes y el personal total los días. Mantiene nuestro edificio limpio, se asegura de que la cafetería esté lista y sea un espacio acogedor. Mueve muebles cuando los necesitamos y de alguna manera siempre está ahí cuando algo necesita hacerse.
But what makes Jose so special is that he doesn't just take care of the building, he takes care of our people. He notices what needs to be done, he jumps in without hesitation, and he always is just a quick walkie call away when we need him.
Pero lo que hace Don José sea tan especial es que no solamente cuida del edificio, también cuida de nuestra gente. Se da cuenta de lo que hace falta, ayuda sin duda y siempre está a solo una llamada del radio cuando lo necesitamos.
There are so many things that happen at DLS every day that would not happen without Jose. He's dependable, helpful, hardworking, and always willing to do whatever it takes to support our students and staff.
Hay tantas cosas que suceden todos los días en la escuela Diamond Lake que no sería posible sin José. Es responsable, servicial, trabajador y siempre está dispuesto a hacer lo que sea necesario para apoyar a nuestros estudiantes y al personal.
Don Jose, thank you for everything you do for Diamond Lake. We appreciate you more than you probably realize, and we are incredibly lucky to have you as a part of our team. Thank you for helping make DLS feel like home.
Don José, gracias por todo lo que hace por la escuela Diamond Lake. Te apreciamos mucho, más de lo que probablemente te das cuenta y somos increíblemente afortunados de tenerlo como parte de nuestro equipo. Gracias por ayudarnos y hacer de DLS un lugar que siempre como nuestro hogar.
And we have a little video to show you.
Tenemos un video corto para enseñarle.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett, for cleaning the floor and creating You're the best, Jose.
On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we just want to say thank you for all that you do. Congratulations on your
Thank
award,
you.
Mr. Jose. We appreciate all that you do. Did you want to say anything?
¿Quieres decir algo?
Thank you very much.
Do you want to shake everyone's hand? Mr. Hanson, would you like to grab one before you move the podium back with Mrs. Shifley and her family?
Okay, we'll now move on to the district goals presentation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. What an exciting evening and a tough act to follow, let me tell you, as we go through our goals. But this evening, we're excited to share an update with the board and our entire community on the 26-27 district goals. We've had one remarkable start to the school year already. I think the phrase I continue to use over and over again is a well-oiled machine. I keep saying it's the first Tuesday, it was the first Monday, and it doesn't feel that way in our buildings. It feels like a really well-oiled machine, and that is definitely a testament to the work that our staff did over the summer to prepare, to reflect on the work that happened last year, and to make sure that we were set up for success this year. So we had a wonderful start collectively together with the entire staff on August 17th. We welcomed all of our staff back, and that was our time to really go through with our entire District 76 team the goals for this school year. It was also a wonderful opportunity to start digging into the specific work related to that, and we welcomed Doug Bolton in to help to support some of that work. So this evening, we're excited to share an update on that work, what has happened, what will be happening across the course of the school year, and how those district goals trickle down directly to impact students. So to get us started, Mr. Hanson created a wonderful video that eloquently puts together an overview that's going to go out to our entire community through social media that gives a little glimpse into not only our goals, but some of the work that's already taken place this year. So So let's take a look.
One district, three priorities, one shared purpose. As we begin the 2026-2027 school year, Diamond Lake School District 76 is moving forward with a clear purpose: to embrace, empower, and excel each child each day. Our district goals are centered on three priorities that we have coined our 3Ps: professional learning communities, positive behavior intervention supports, and presence. Together, these priorities strengthen learning, support the whole child, and create schools where every student feels connected and ready to learn. Our first priority is the continued growth of professional learning communities, or PLCs. When educators collaborate, they study student learning, and share effective practices, every classroom becomes stronger. This year, staff will receive dedicated time, resources, and professional learning to strengthen collaboration and develop shared common formative assessments. These assessments will help teachers understand what students have learned, identify where additional support may be needed, and respond with greater focus and consistency. Our second priority is positive behavior intervention and support, or PBIS. Students are more successful when expectations are consistent and adults respond with care and purpose. CHAMP structures will continue across all of our schools and provide clear expectations for student behaviors. We will also strengthen our Tier 2 systems so that students who need additional behavior or social emotional support receive timely and effective assistance. Our third priority, presence, means so much more than just attending school. It means feeling welcomed, valued, supported, and connected. We will strengthen attendance systems while helping every classroom and school become a place where students experience a genuine sense of belonging. Throughout this year, we will explicitly support students' social and emotional learning, their attendance, their school climate, communication, student voice, and extracurricular involvement. This information will help us recognize progress, identify areas for improvement, and make informed decisions that keep students at the center of our work. Our goals represent a shared commitment among students, staff, families, and our community. Together, we will create meaningful learning experiences, strengthen relationships, and help every student succeed. This is how we will, in Diamond Lake School District 76, embrace, empower, and excel each child, each day.
Just a shout out to Mr. Hanson. In 4 days of school was able to capture, that's all footage from this school year, from Institute Day to today, was able to pull that together and not just have the district goals be words, but actually to see the images of what that looks like within our schools. So really the heart of our work still remains steadfast on our district's mission and vision to embrace, empower, and excel each child each day. And the goals are just how we go about being able to confirm that we're doing that. So this summer, the district leadership team took a look back at the work that took place last year and over many years, and really to be able to develop the plan for what needs to happen to continue to propel us forward going into the 26-27 school year. So as the team reflected specifically on data that we have within the district from the last school year, we looked at these 3 Ps as really being critical to our work, and we've coined it our 3 Ps. The first P being professional learning communities, or PLCs. The second P being anchored in positive behavior interventions and supports. And the third P being presence. So those 3 Ps continuing to drive. What we noticed as we reflect back on the last year, we've made a lot of progress, but we still see places that we can continue to grow, and we felt like that was a critical piece as a team. Like we did last year, these district goals and the action steps are really intended to set what are we working on collectively as a district, the action steps at a school level, then specifically what does that look like, and what are the action steps at each of our 3 school sites. So they're slightly different from Diamond Lake School to West Oak Intermediate to the middle school, all still directly impacting students at each of those school sites. The teacher teams will create their specific goals by grade level or content area teams in the middle school. The classroom level goals, and again, directly impacting the student goals. So we have the idea, really in looking at these goals, what we look at is the telescope and the microscope. So we looked at the telescope, our big picture. Those three big goals are the telescope, but as we zoom down to the microscope vision, what are the specific action steps that we're going to do in order to achieve those goals? So this evening, joining me sharing that will be Dr. Cunningham, Dr. Klipp, and Mrs. Roldan, sharing a little bit about each of the three Ps that we have in terms of the action steps in the work. I need better glasses because I can't read from that far. The three Ps specifically, the action steps that relate to each of them. Under professional learning communities, what we're going to focus on is that deep implementation of our PLC practices. Under PBIS, we're going to focus on fostering rich learning environments based on PBIS systems. And under presence, really focusing on increasing a sense of belonging to foster stronger engagement and attendance. So I'm going to turn it over to the team to be able to share the specific action steps for each. And Dr. Cunningham will take it first on PLCs.
Thank you. So last year with our work on PLCs, we really focused on what we call question one. What do we want students to know and be able to do? There was a lot of exposure to different scale work. So we're really excited. We just got this website. I'm really excited. So Hanson's going to take us on a little tour here. So we're ready. We're going to go on we'll take a little field trip on our website. So very excited about this. We just launched this page under Department of Instruction and Personnel. You click on proficiency scales. If you scroll down just a little bit, if you hit expand all, it's so satisfying. So there is all of our scales maps for every subject. So before Hanson clicks on any of these are not easy, but we know our kids can do it and they have been doing it. There will be some variation in these where, and I'll show you in a second, where like maybe second grade tagged their units, but first grade didn't necessarily like visualize it in the same way, but it looks very similar in what we do see. And we aren't really pushing this in terms of like official communication because we have our Portrait of Excellence that's also being launched. We want to make sure these things time out well, but it is there. So let's click on, let's just pick first grade ELA, English Language Arts. So if you click on that, this is what a map will look like. And so it looks, we didn't mean for it to look like a pencil, but it kind of happened. So it really, there's a lot of credit given to it being a certain way, but this will show you by trimester what scales are going to be measured. So all these skills are in PowerSchool. So if I'm in trimester 1, I'm going to be measured on analyzing text, generating narratives, so they're working on that writing, and then those concepts, those foundational skills are measured all year. Then we have, and I think this one went on to 2 pages, but there's participation, and there's another one below that in terms of speaking and listening. So all those are available. If we were to pick the map, let's go back. I think you have to hit back. Don't exit your screen. I've learned that. Let's pick first grade math. We'll take another tour of just a math one. So similar idea. This is by trimester. You can see for this one, first grade felt it was really appropriate to list the topics in terms of what's happening. And what's really nice too, let's click on geometric figures and composition. This will be the last thing I make you drive and do. So if we click on this one, for example, this is just an example of what our scales look like. The board has seen it to some degree. So there are essentially 2 targets and 2 sets of foundational skills that goes with these in link. There's also level 4 skills that are defined for all of these. So there are enriched skills clearly laid out of what can happen. These are written detailed enough, and they do correspond to the progression we want at the state level. These are detailed enough that actually a tech-savvy student or parent could pop these into any of our AI tools, and it could generate infinite amounts of learning activities and supplements. So they're written so that it can be completely interactive in that way. We're also using Google Docs for these for accessibility. It makes translation much easier. It allows for screen reading much easier. So it's not PDFs. Everything should be a view as opposed to edit. So there are things that you may spot a formatting thing that we've worked really hard to make these look very clean all the way through. But we're just profoundly excited for this work. So this is how we used our late starts, our curriculum days, about 400 of these, and our staff really have already put these into practice, and it is making a huge difference of what our students are know and are able to do. So I think that was it, Hanson. Thank you. We can go back. Thank you so much for being willing to do that. So when we talk about question 2 of PLC, so there's 2 things we're doing this year. One is ensuring that when we talk about professional learning communities, we're very clear as a district of what that means, because that term is used in education all over the place. And so really we're learning by doing. So we already have teams that are going through some of this work of how do we have a conversation where our pacing is off? Like how are you really teaching analyzing text? What does that look like in your classroom? And then it's the next step for us is answering question 2, which is what do we want, how do we know they've learned it? And so we're developing common assessments right now across all grade levels. Many of them will have pre-assessments, multiple formative checks, and we're working on how we're going to provide that information to families. So that's really our big thing we're using our late starts, early releases for. In fact, I think on the next slide, I'll just kind of show just the board. How are we using our late starts? It's CFA stands for Common Formative Assessment. We're developing the assessments. That's a large, huge chunk of what we're doing. You saw what we did the first part. There's other things, of course, that are happening. That's a big part of it. We're also providing PLC training to our team leads, which it'll be formalized training around learning by doing, but also it's just really the experience weekly of how you have those conversations. The principals are intimately involved in that. It's already going, and because we have such a phenomenal staff, it's amazing what we can accomplish so quickly because of how incredible they are. So these are really the 2 major lifts. So when we have curriculum days, when we have late starts, early releases, this is what staff are doing. Sometimes when you were thinking about teacher institutes and what are those teachers doing those days, this is what it is. They're working very hard, and we're really proud of the work they're doing and will continue to do. Dr. Khalid.
Thank you, Dr. Cunningham. The second goal, fostering rich learning environments based on PBIS systems, is a direct continuation of our work from last year. I want to highlight the significant progress we've made in our multi-tiered system of supports and outline our strategic direction as we move forward this school year. Last year, our targeted focus was on strengthening PBIS Tier 1 practices. As evidenced by our end-of-year data, this focus yielded measurable improvements in SEL and behavioral strategies applied consistently across the entire district. So this year, we are capitalizing on that momentum in 2 key ways. First, we are ensuring full implementation of the CHAMPS framework, which is setting clear expectations around conversation, help, activity, movement, participation, and success across all learning environments. And then with that strong universal foundation in place, we are expanding our focus to ensure our Tier 2 interventions now are highly effective and data-driven so that we can better support students requiring targeted interventions. As shared by Dr. Cunningham, this chart does outline our intentional roadmap for the school year in terms of how we plan on supporting our staff throughout each of the buildings. We are leveraging our staff meeting times in each of the schools to really focus on PBIS Tier 1 and Tier 2 work. So that way everybody has the same understanding and the support they need to be able to implement all of these strategies throughout the year. At this time, I would like to pass it over to Mrs. Roldan.
All right. Our third goal is presence, and last year staff did a lot of work to increase attendance throughout the district. Those initiatives really proved to make some significant growth. Specifically, we were able to monitor and really figure out which students to target to really make sure that our attendance was improving. So we went from 48% of our students being truant down to 30%. With that 18% decrease, we are talking about around 135 more students that were at school learning this past year. That's really something to be proud of, and we most certainly are, and we should celebrate that. But we want to do better still. So we want to make sure that in order to keep that momentum going, we want to continue that focus on attendance. And although we're proud of that 18% decrease, we want to make sure that we work on that 30% of students to make sure that they're here. So we will continue to monitor our attendance and hopefully see better results this year. And then our next step is to focus on professional development that fosters an inclusive environment where students feel a strong sense of belonging. We want to ensure that they feel heard and know that they truly matter. We know that students will thrive socially, emotionally, and academically when they are in an environment that values them and cares about them. We kicked off that during our Teacher Institute with Doug Bolton. This was my first time seeing Doug, and it was just such an amazing experience. He really lit up the room and made sure that we all felt like we belonged. Yes, we know. Dr. Clip really was moved. We all were. So he is the author of the book Untethered, and he has focused his work on creating communities that nurture growth, heal trauma, and enhance resilience for a generation of children. This was a very eye-opening experience, I think, for all of us. And I know that we all left that presentation really feeling ready to welcome our students, just that sense of really positivity for all and prioritizing that sense of belonging. In addition to that wonderful presentation, our social workers will be working throughout the year to provide PD to our teachers on the importance of creating inclusive environments in our classrooms. And we're also excited to welcome back the Marzano Group, which will help provide professional development in this area. And last but not least, the implementation of our homerooms in our middle schools will also lead specific focuses that will help foster that sense of belonging.
So as we think through the process and our next steps, we do want to highlight, just because we worked this summer, the work continued at a school level, at a classroom team level. So I think before anything else, in order for us to effectively achieve our goals, we need to make sure that we have the strong financial resources for instructional work, as Peter highlighted with the curriculum work and those scales. We have to make sure we have the right curriculum and materials in the hands of staff in order to collaborate around how do we meet those goals. We have to have the right resources, even staffing-wise, to make sure that we have the right staff in place to be able to support. So strong financial stability, and certainly Mr. Rogers being a huge proponent of that piece for us has been critical for us to look at as we create these action steps. Can we do this financially and do it well? So that's been a critical part of it. In addition, the building leadership team, so while we spent some time in July as a district leadership team, including our 3 building principals, going through and creating the goals and the action steps, then the school building leadership teams met before the school year started to look at that and create the building specific action steps. So how are we at West Oak Intermediate supporting that work based on our data at our individual school? What do we need to target and focus on? They took and rolled that out with their staff on the August 18th Building Institute Day, which was an opportunity then for all staff to understand what are the specific action steps at each of our school sites. We will do a 90-day review cycle. I think it's really critical as we look at these goals and action steps, not to make sure that they're just good in the summer, but to make sure that as we look at 90 days into the school year, do they continue to meet our needs? It's our dipstick check-in opportunity to say, hey, how are we doing related to these, rather than waiting to the end of the school year, and pivot if we need to pivot, if those goals are not meeting or those action steps aren't meeting our needs. Or if we've achieved them and actually achieved those goals, set new stretch goals for ourselves for the other 90 days that are still left within the school year. We will update the board as well related to that at the mid-year point of the school year and again at the end of the year. As we think about those goals, though, I think one of the really critical pieces to this is that it's not just details on a piece of paper. As you look at the 7 and 6, it represents every student and every staff member last year during Kindness Day. And really what it does prove is together we can accomplish anything, and it's not an individual goal or action step that's owned by one person, but all of us collectively to be able to do this. Just like it took all of us working together to create that 7 and that 6 out in the field, I will say that. You know, in the field of education, we have a wonderful opportunity. Every year we get this fresh start. It's a very unique thing to most professions. We get a fresh start every year. And how do we take that and make it a strong start every school year? We have people's pride and joys that come through our doors each and every day that we are able to welcome and embrace, and just making sure these action steps And these goals aren't just things that we look at data, but we actually look at the faces of the individuals that come in to make sure that our goals and action steps meet the needs of the people that are in the organization. So with that, we'd welcome any questions the board might have related to the goals for this school year.
Don't have a question, but this is fantastic work, and I just am super excited about the proficiency scales. Sitting over here going through the website, it's fantastic, and I'm really excited to get to have the community see all of that great work. So thank you.
So I just have a question, and I love the 90-day check-in. You know, I think if you're going to fail, fail fast and, you know, pivot quickly. What's the feedback loop for staff members to give, especially like the proficiency scales, to be able to provide feedback on how they're working rather than waiting for that 90-day check-in, or maybe at the 90-day check-in?
That's a great question. We have building leadership teams, so there's a team leader at each of the grade levels that is meeting with our building principals on the regular. The West Oak Intermediate School just had their follow-up meeting just yesterday with their building leadership team so that we don't necessarily wait for the 90 days if there's things we need to pivot on. Those leaders are grade level team leaders or content leaders. So for art, music, and PE, there's one person that represents that group, is able to meet with their group, bring that feedback back at a building level, and that they can make adjustments there. In addition, there's also something we call the Superintendent Advisory Team or Council, and those are representatives from each of our 3 school teams that meet with me then to be able to provide that. So that feedback loop is pretty consistent. It also builds that leadership capacity of those individuals to troubleshoot at a team level. If it's not a building-wide something that needs to have some work done to it, that there might be professional development maybe that a first grade team needs or a second grade team needs, and maybe it's not everybody in the building.
Great,
Does
thanks.
that help?
Yeah, that's perfect.
I don't have a question, but the scales, like you said, I went to a PLC conference recently, and this is like, you're well on the way, like this is, you guys are, in terms of essential standards, and not only having the teachers do that, like creates, like, so they had such a vital role in creating them, which is now they understand what they are as opposed to just giving it. And that's so important, because when teachers know what they're teaching and what the level 4, like not only having the meeting, but the exceeding and the steps before it. And I think once it's rolled out to the parents, then it's easy for a parent to say, oh, okay, like this is where they're at, this is where they're going to go, or this is something that, you know, I can ask about at school. So I think that's, it's a huge undertaking, as I'm sure you know, Peter, but Dr. Cunningham, but I'm very impressed.
I also really love that there's a level 4 category for parents who will take the extra time to create AI generated activities and whatnot. Because a lot of, like from my classroom, for all these years that we've been doing in my district of standards-based grading, it's like, well, how can I get a 4? How can I get a 4? So I think it's great to have them see that there is an option to like do extra. So thank you.
I'll just echo everybody else and say thank you so much. This is fantastic work, and I think we're really excited to see how this year unfolds. Okay, that moves us on to our business agenda for the evening. The first item on the business agenda is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be voted on by one motion. If anyone, board member, staff, administrator, or citizen wishes to have a separate vote on any item or items, that item or items will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the omnibus vote agenda items A through C as listed. May I have a motion to approve, please? Yes. That motion is approved. The next item up for action is personnel. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake School District 76 Board of Education approves the personnel item as depicted on the agenda, we have 2 new hires and 5 resignations. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Shifley?
That item is also approved. Yeah.
So those are resignations that came up from the last board meeting, so they aren't all, yes. Yeah. So these are just since the last board meeting. The new hires did start at the start of the school year, pre the board's approval. Obviously, they were all pending board approval. They were aware of that. Yeah. Those were the 5. Learning associates, just to kind of highlight, I think oftentimes resignation is at the end of the summer because of insurance, typically, wanting to keep insurance coverage through the end of summer, which they would have, but I think sometimes they think if they resign prior to that, that it may be discontinued before the summer is over. If that makes sense. Does that help?
Okay, that wraps up our business agenda. Freedom of information requests, we had 2, and those were fulfilled. Notices and communications, we have some information about CEDAL. David, are you?
Yeah, I had a meeting last, I had a meeting 2 weeks ago. There's a couple things to report now.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, thank you.
So they were really excited to have 309 kids participate in their summer school program. Huge success. Parents, as we probably can understand, want more days and longer hours, but they had a really successful program. They approved the 3-year teacher contract between the CEDAL union and the board. It was an easy, everyone was really happy with their 3-year contract, which is great. We also passed the fiscal year 2027 budget. It's a balanced budget. If you need to look at that, I think actually everyone gets an email copy of that. And there's a bunch of upcoming events and fundraisers. Please check their website. They rely on these upcoming events for programming and other things that they do. The Big Golf Invitational, the 5K run. So if you're interested, please take a look.
Great, thank you. District 76 highlights. We have the Welcome Back D76 Staff Day, which is very cute. That video is very cute. Moving on to public comments and petitions on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comments? Having lost our audience, it looks like we do not. Okay, moving on to others. We have a couple things about others just to kind of discuss. So there is a Vernon Hills Joint Officials meeting on September 15th at 1:30. And then there's the Mundelein one on October 7th at 8 a.m. If you are available to attend either of those, would you please let me, Erin and Hiram know so we can make sure that we have 2 of us there. I actually cannot attend either, so it would be great if we could get people. I know it's hard based on the timing and the workday. For the budget hearing, Mrs. Bayless asked if it would be possible for us just to do that hearing 15 minutes before the board meeting rather than starting the board meeting itself 15 minutes later. Is everyone available at 6:45 on the 22nd? Okay, that is great. And then just a reminder that the policy committee meets on October 20th at 5 o'clock, and that is open to everybody that would like to join. If you are going to attend, could you just give Erin and Hiram a heads up so that if there are more than 2 of us there, they notice it properly? Okay.
Can I add one thing to?
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am.
Breaking news, the community center here at Diamond Lake School, we just got word this afternoon that the construction is going to begin on Saturday, demolishing the old garage. While the students are not here, getting rid of that. And we will be doing a groundbreaking with the students on Wednesday at 8 a.m. I know that's not super convenient. We do want the students to be a part of it. Hard hats and shovels are in the work of being brought in so that the students can help do a little groundbreaking with us on Wednesday. So if you are free Wednesday at 8 a.m., you are welcome to join us. If not, Mr. Hanson, in his
Next week.
wonderfulness, next week,
Next week,
sorry.
not tomorrow.
Next week, not
Yeah.
tomorrow, not tomorrow. Next week. Saturday, they'll demolish, this coming Saturday, they'll demolish, and then next Saturday, the 2nd, I believe it is, of September, at 8 a.m. You'll get an invite. I'll send you an invite shortly, but just wanted you to be aware it was, they're coming and they're ready to move fast. And prior to November 1st, they gave us an October date, but I'm gonna stretch it to November 1st just because you never know what can happen with weather. But before the November 1st deadline, I think we will have the new structure in the community center will be up and open for our community. So definitely exciting news, and I know the board had approved that, and we have tremendous support from State Rep Dan Dedich, which has been absolutely remarkable to be able to help bring that to fruition. So just wanted you to be aware of that coming up real quickly here, but it's an exciting time. And just to go back, Mr. Becker, Mr. Hanson will be taking pictures and videos, so I promise you won't totally miss out. You'll be able to catch up on it after.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's fantastic news. Okay, then we will move to adjourn to executive session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity, and litigation when an action against affecting or on behalf of a particular body has been filed and is pending for a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Ms. Reyes? Yes. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Bayless? Yes. Ms. Crutchfield? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Shifley?
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see all of you.
How was your week, Elisa? It's nice group now.